Hey everyone, this is Cholera, and thanks for joining me for Game 3 of MSL Group F. Played a couple of days earlier, I believe, on June 18th, 2009. This is Game 3, the winner's game. And of course, these are the two winners from the first two games, Fantasy and, surprise of all surprises, Movie. And they're going to be playing a TVP here on the map. I believe this is Outsider. Of course, I was very stunned a couple days ago when I cast that game. Oh my goodness, and I'm a little bit stunned here because Movie is going to be going for something unorthodox once again. He's going to go for some big cheese here. He is going to try to just be the super cheddar here in this series, it seems. I mean, you know, in the first game, it wasn't even, he didn't even cheese. He just built this impossible machine of a build, and somehow it worked. There was this like ridiculous Rube Goldberg device of a Dragoon Rush, and what the hell? How did Fantasy manage to, I mean, how did Jaedong lose to it? I have no idea how that worked. But this time Movie's not going to be very lucky. He's not going to be able to get to Fantasy first. He's scouting totally in the wrong place. Oh, bad luck for Movie. Movie, I hope he knows that Fantasy is not there because, okay, yeah, it looks like he's actually just going to put a pylon in his own base. And this is the problem with going for a cheese, especially an in-base proxy on a multiplayer map, on a more than two-player map. You can, it's a factor of luck. I mean, he had a 50% chance of finding Fantasy's base and perhaps, just perhaps, delivering some kind of instant blow of death. You know, basically, you know, if Fantasy didn't detect it somehow, that could have been game-changing, game-ending, having a gateway inside of his base. But unfortunately for him, instead, he incurs a pretty significant economic loss because of the fact that he sent out one of his first four probes to go and wander the map. And that probe's not going to do anything now. So in any case, Fantasy right now looks like he was opening standard, going for racks and gas, and there is Movie's racks and gas. Gateway and gas. And you know, really, that's going to set him a little bit behind. But let's go back to game one. I mean, I was amazed, just absolutely amazed by what he managed to do. Just created a build that I don't know if we'll ever see again. I mean, I think it's a build that is counterable, certainly, if your opponent knows it's coming. I mean, certainly, a lot of Lings and a couple of Hydras can defeat that Dragoon build. Like, it's nobody's business. And, you know, certainly it becomes progressively weaker as the Zerg economy and especially the Zerg production goes further. So I do think that it was basically a build to counter a standard 5 hatchery build that he thought Jaedong would do, and Jaedong did do, because it really, the 5 hatchery build leaves you pretty vulnerable to some kind of timing attack like that, but you usually don't expect it when a Protoss has gone for what he started off looking like, just a completely normal build. And instead, he just did something completely unexpected. Looks like we've got ourselves a hidden pylon here, and it's going to be a hidden Citadel of Adun and Templar Archives. It's going to be a DT rush here from Movie. Fantasy sending out a very late scout here. Definitely, he is not the, neither player really is Bisu-like in their scouting. Neither player is going to get a scout, pretty much, at all. So both players are completely in the dark. I don't think this SCV is going to get up. If it does, though, ooh, that would be a big mistake and would be a big problem. Oh, man, it gets up. I cannot believe that. Movie just didn't have a unit inside of his base. So Fantasy is going to get suspicious very soon. Oh, look at this. Fantasy, I think, suspects, and he might... No, he's not. Is he going to go past? No, he doesn't try to trick himself through. And he's instead just going to expand right next to where, oh, man, there's going to be some DTs coming right there. Look at this. Very interesting play here coming from Movie. He's got that probe there to pretend like he's going to expand. It's a fake, I gotta think. Is he actually going to expand? No, I don't think he can. No, there's no way he can expand. That was just a horse and pony show there. And that really was a nice show there, I gotta say. Is it dog and pony? Yeah. It's a dog and pony show, a horse and pony show. Nice dog and pony show there. And what is Movie gonna do? I guess he's gonna try to trick over some DTs. I believe you can do that through these mineral patches with a probe, which he has. So this is still going to be a cheesy game here coming from Movie, and Movie still could win this very quickly with a strange build. But look at this Fantasy, actually. a little bit suspicious of something coming up. He's not actually going for Engineering Bay first. That actually leaves him quite vulnerable if there were to be a revert drop of some sort, but maybe he's studied out Movie a little bit, and he has seen games where Movie has done something like this with DTs. I'm not sure. I don't know what makes Fantasy think about this, but obviously he wants to scan off also, but of course he'd be very vulnerable, but at this point it doesn't matter. Fantasy, I don't think he knows about the DT. Now he knows there's a DT. Oh man, that was actually pretty fast reaction time from him. I think all he spotted was a probe, and then he saw the blur. So right now he's going to have a scan ready, and that's going to be bad for Movie actually. Movie is only going to be able to get a couple of SCVs, it appears, although he could still get more, certainly a lot more DTs in this base. And now he's actually putting pressure in the front also. Looks like Fantasy in big trouble here. He has to conserve his scans, and right now I don't know if he's got a scan off. He really needs to get a scan off, but no, now there's a DT and 2 Dragoons up front. Fantasy just desperately trying to defend with only about 3 tanks and a handful of SCVs here against all threats, all comers, and Fantasy right now only has 2 scanners. One of them might actually go down in the back, so Movie actually, I can't believe this. Movie might actually win this game with the first failed cheese, and now the second cheese actually succeeding. One of the scanners is going to go down. I'm not sure if Fantasy has saved both of his scans. Man, I don't know where his scans have been used. I mean, did he even use that scan inside of that comsat? I'm not sure. Oh, I guess he has, because there's no DT inside of his main, but there should be still one more scan left for Fantasy. Man, I think it was a mistake not to go for the turrets first. I think it was a mistake to go for an academy. Had he gone for a more standard Engineering Bay opening after expanding, I think that would have been a better defense for him. So right now, Fantasy is a bit behind, I would say. He does have a small force there. He's actually going to expand now in his outside expansion. He gets a scan off, kills the DT there. And, oh, another DT coming up, though. Oh, man. Oh, another scan, though, by Fantasy. Nice work there by Fantasy, kind of faking out Movie there. Oh, but Movie not going to be faked out, as in, like, he's got more DTs. He's like, I don't care. You got more scans than this? Outscan this, baby, and he's not going to be able to. He kills off the SCV trying to build the turrets, and I can't believe this. Fantasy has got mines, turrets, and scanners, and yet these DTs are still doing damage inside of his base. Now, oh man, the DT with dying breath there, taking out an SCV. Fantasy is desperately, I think, at this point, wanting to do some counter damage to the economy of Movies. I think Movies' economy is definitely stronger. Yeah, as you can see from the probe count, he definitely has a stronger economy. He's got his natural up, and he still has more DTs, and these DTs are very effective in terms of forcing Fantasy back, in terms of preventing Fantasy from countering him. What was that? I have no idea how that DT managed to even live from that. I don't know how he avoided that mine, man. I mean, he only has 10 hit points off. Man, it's crazy. I don't know what happened there. I guess he chopped it up, or I don't know. Anyway, Fantasy gonna advance, actually, and just as I said, he should be fine in terms of holding off a push. He actually isn't. He actually, well, no, Movie looks like, oh, Movie, nice work there, but I think he still might be in a little bit of trouble, especially because there's a turret now being built up front. Fantasy doesn't seem like he's got siege mode yet, but he's got 2 vultures now in the inside of Movie's base. So Fantasy doing a good job of pushing forward here, in fact, doing a great job, I gotta say. And those 2 vultures, more vultures coming to Fantasy, showing his vulture prowess. And just like last game, he's doing a great job with them, especially when there's no Lita to outdo him in Vulture Micro. There's only one player with Vulture skills in this game. And Fantasy should certainly exhibiting them. Wow, nice work by Fantasy. Getting another Vulture in. He's gotten so many probe kills. He's going to find out there's nothing up here, but certainly he's all over that natural, and obviously Protoss buildings can't lift. So right now we could be seeing possibly that Nexus go down, and that would swing the game way back in Fantasy's favor. I'm amazed he's managed to make this little push count, and he's got a dropship. Fantasy with his signature dropships. So I guess Movie's economic advantage has not been able to do much. Also his shuttle has not done much at all for him. I think he should have gotten observers. In fact, oh, Fantasy gonna go for another drop inside of the main. absolutely great multitasking from Fantasy to get himself back in it. And wow, just look at this. He's got himself some mines now all over the place in the back. Fantasy just all over the place. And oh man, Movie's close to losing a lot of probes if he's not careful from a mine. But it looks like he is going to get Dragoons there. And, oh, still losing more probes, though. Look at Fantasy. This kid is a pro here with his micro, and it's going to pick off a number more probes. Very nice work here from Fantasy with this very, very clutch counterattack. He still has another drop coming, and it doesn't look... Wow, I can't believe that one Vulture is still alive in the back also. And that's not going to kill a Nexus, but it's going to annoy the hell out of Movie and also stop him from mining, more importantly. Fantasy now dropping again, now in the natural expansion. Movie, I don't know why he went for that shuttle. I don't think that shuttle was useful at all. I think he should just build more Dragoons, actually, and just defended himself better. But I guess he and I, neither of us expected as effective of a counter as what Fantasy has pulled off. Now Fantasy is securely in the lead, I think. In this game, well, I mean, it's hard to say because, he is expanding the back, so yeah, I would say he's in the lead. I mean, he took heavy losses, but I think the losses were even heavier, and the forces now